Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. During the height of the pandemic, the government wheeled out a whole load of so-called experts to disseminate and broadcast the lies that were necessary to cover up the biggest capital shift in history from poor people to rich people, all at the same time as removing rights and freedoms, and hoping that we wouldn't notice. But we noticed. And one of these so-called experts was a man called Chris Whitty, who's obviously got a taste for the publicity and the high life. He's become a bit of a publicity whore, it seems. For now, he is being used as the face of the government's next secret agenda of removing private transport from the masses. Obviously, the rich and the elite can continue to fly in their private jets, but God forbid that we have access to motor cars, because if we have the right to travel where we want, when we want, the government can't control us. This is all part of a bigger agenda, but more on that later. So the latest wheeze is to get him back out, this man that the government seem to think we believe a lot, and get him to start disseminating more lies about cars in front of schools. It's a load of crap, but let's look at the article. So, Chris Whitty, liar-in-chief of the government, claims air pollution is as dangerous as COVID and encourages parents to scold motorists whose idling engines are outside schools. Yeah, let's do that. Let's divide motorists. Let's just say, first of all, we'll scold, you guys. Let's make them the ones who let their cars idle outside. Make them the bad ones because they're idling outside of school. Then it's idling anywhere. Make them the bad ones. Then it's being a car. You got a car. You're a bad one. Then it's let's restrict where cars can go. Let's restrict who owns cars. Let's just ban cars because we don't want the masses to have the right to go where they want and when they want. Let's remove cars. That's the ultimate aim. This is the agenda. But they salami slice it by a start. What they're not doing, they're not starting at the top. They're starting down here at the bottom with us. They're not starting with the elite. If you want to truly do something and you want to show that we're all in this together, because that was always the claim, we're all in this together. Well, let's all be in this together. And let's start at the top. And let's ban private jets. And say, right, look, Britain's going to be a world leader here. We are going to ban private jets. And then we're going to impose a green tax on the distance things have to travel. You wear a T-shirt, and before you wear it, it's been 3 times around the world. With the gathering of the initial materials, the processing and that. 3 times around the world by the time you put a T-shirt on. So let's put a travel tax on for any product. And the further it has to travel to market, the more it costs. And all of a sudden, all these things made in China and India and that will be really expensive because you've got the thousands of miles. All that shipping fuel, which is tax-free, let's start taxing shipping fuel. Let's put 20% tax on the oil of cargo ships. And I tell you what, when things are that expensive, you'll look for what's made nearer, what's made local, what's made of local products. That'll save the world. You're not burning millions of tons of shipping fuel. I tell you what else we'll do. All these private yachts. Let's ban private yachts. Let's say no yacht greater than 100 feet should be allowed. Because you look at these yachts that these multi-billionaires put out to sea in. And not even multi-billionaires. I mean, even Hollywood stars have these big yachts. Sometimes it's $1 million worth of oil a time goes in these things for them to go. That's millions of dollars. That's just so much oil pollution. So let's all be in this together. Let's ban those private jets. Let's tax shipping fuel, and let's ban yachts, private yachts over say 100 feet. There you go. That's fine. And let's all be in this together. Let's take them out first. Let the elite who keep preaching to us about how the world is and how we should be looking after it. Let them start. Let's take away their toys first. And then we'll come down and we'll look at the other things that are bad, like buses and lorries. Let's get them off the roads first. Because they're worse polluters per mile than any car is. And then let's lift speed limits to 45 miles an hour because a car is only efficient at 45 miles an hour. That's the peak engine output per drop of fuel, if you like. That's the bit where fuel gives out the least amount of pollution for any particular distance travelled. So let's do that. Let's not go, let's take the cars off the masses, because this has got sod all to do with the climate and it's got sod all to do with the ecological reasons. This is all to do with control of the masses. But let's see what this liar-in-chief is saying. Let's listen to his bullshit. People should have the courage to tell off motorists who leave their engines running outside school, Chris Whitty, the Chief Medical Officer, said yesterday. Whitty said the air pollution was causing between 26,000 and 38,000 deaths a year in England alone, with more across the UK as a whole. Can he back this up? Can he prove this? Or is this just a number he's plucked from his very bald head? In his annual report, the liar said that he has targeted air pollution as it is significant as a health risk as the COVID-19 virus. But hang on, the COVID-19 virus, that he said there'd be over 200,000 deaths in this country because of it. And there wasn't, because he lies. Meanwhile, we have our rights and freedoms removed while he lies. Anyway, he quotes some bollocks, and it is all bollocks because he is just mouthing the gaslighting from the government. Whitty and his colleagues recommended a raft of recommendations that could help us clean up the air, including avoiding wood-burning stoves. Well, if you reduce the cost of gas, people would. Accelerating the transition to electric cars, which are in no way good for the environment. It's millions of tons of ore has to be processed to get 1 kilogram of rare earth metals. They are incredibly dirty. The production is awful. No one knows how to get rid of the batteries. And in fact, Switzerland this week banned electric cars from running on the roads because they're taking too much of the grid energy and they don't have the generating capacity. So electric cars aren't that great either. He says, and to get farmers to inject their slurry into the soil to stop it spreading ammonia into the air. Well, you know, ain't going to happen. Because even then it costs more energy to inject that into the soil than it does to spray it into the soil. So what do you want to do here? The trend for Chelsea tractors, heavy 4x4 vehicles, also came in for criticism as they produce more particulates from their tyres and brakes, as well as their bigger engines. Well, he does have an argument for that, I suppose, in towns. If you're in a town or a city, there's no reason for you to have a 4x4. I live in the countryside. You need one round here, especially in the winter with the snow and that. We don't have people coming up here very kindly spraying grit on our roads. This is the downside of living in the countryside. But hey-ho. He says other areas that need to be tackled to curb pollution include diesel trains idling inside railway stations. Fortunately, you can't just turn a train on and off. And also, diesel trains idling doesn't happen a lot. They're only idling for very short periods. And to be honest, they're still far, far more efficient than cars. And you can't have it always. Plus also, does he not understand where the electricity generation comes from? In a lot of the case, the electricity generation itself is from oil, coal and gas. So it doesn't help much. Speaking at a press conference, Whitty said that the quality of the air was a medical problem and reducing it would reduce a host of problems, including heart disease, the risk of strokes and asthma. He is right. I mean, air quality is right. But this has got nothing to do with air quality. As I say, this is all to do with gaslighting for the eventual removal of the private ownership of cars. Now, I've got a series of videos being planned. I'm working with one of my good viewers who raised this issue with me. She came to me and mentioned, have I heard about this? I went, no. I'd heard very, very vaguely of it, but I knew very little about it. I've subsequently looked into it. We will be doing a series of videos on what looks like a new agenda for the control of the masses. It's quite frightening. And it's frightening that it's actually even been suggested. But when you see the details involved, you can see straight away, unless you're a complete moron, you'll see straight away exactly what this is. But we will come to that in time. But yeah, this though is just that gaslighting of removal. So anyway, I shall finish there and come up and round off the video. All these governments that spout this crap and seriously think that we're going to believe them, they must think we are morons. They must think we have literally come up the lock in a bubble. We can see straight through their lies. We see that when they are gaslighting us. This, it's for your own good, or this is, it's good for the environment, is bullshit. We know it, they know we know it, and yet they still try to sell us a dead kipper. It isn't going to work. We know what you're trying to do. Stop removing rights and freedoms. Stop taking away our ability to travel. You are not doing this for the elites. Why are you doing it for the masses? Show your backbone. You're all globalists. You're all working for the agenda laid down by your overlords. Well, stop it We won't let it happen. We know exactly why it's happening. It's to stop the rising of the masses. It is ultimately, in the end, it will be a case of stopping the revolution, stopping the masses of people overthrowing these elites, because that's the one thing they're scared of, because we are many and they are few. And when it comes to it, we will win. All it takes is for people to continually point out exactly what the agenda is and exactly what they're doing. That's why I do what I do. I see this a lot. So thank you for listening. Do subscribe if you haven't subscribed. It's very important we keep getting the message out. And do keep an eye out. We're looking at this. It's the 15-minute plan, or the 15-minute city. And we're going to be doing a series of videos on this. And it is truly frightening. So they'll probably be coming up some point next week. Certainly the first of them will. All I will say to people at this point is invest in some technology. The technology you need to start investing in is generators, solar battery systems, and CB radios. Because I think CB radios will be eventually very, very necessary. But we'll address why when I come to do those videos on the 15-minute cities. But anyway, for now, I shall leave you. Thank you very much for watching. If you like what you see and hear, do hit the subscribe button, as I say. Ring that bell for notifications. Please like the video. Please make a comment on the video. It helps with the notifications. It helps with the logarithm, the algorithm, should I say, gets that message across more. And until next time, stay safe, stay well, never believe what these liars tell you, and goodbye.